Welcome to my 3,000 subscriber Q&A special. For this second installment, I decided to do without the face cam, since the vast majority of the questions you guys asked were geopolitical ones, and I wanted to give visual representations for my answers. With this in mind, let's get to the questions. Do you see the Arab-Israeli conflict coming to an end, and how/why? It already has been winding down, especially as foreign threats like China and Iran pull Israel and the Arab states closer. There are also some economic ties between Israel and the Gulf Arab states. Palestine is allied with Iran, though. Once the US leaves the region, though, I worry that tensions could rise again. Do you think micronations should be accepted as real nations, and which of those do you think has the most realistic chance to actually become its own nation? Like what, Sealand? It's already a country, what are you talking about? Do you think that Russia will eventually become a NATO ally, or do you think that there is too much between them? Looking back at one video I made about this, I just don't know. It could happen if China is an active threat to Russia, but as long as America and the West continue to demonize Russia, and as long as Russia continues to act so aggressively, I don't see much progress being made in amending ties. Do you think the North Caucasus will inevitably be Balkanized? Yes. The Russian government barely controls parts of it anyway, notably Chechnya, and seeing these regions having loose cultural connections to Turkey is sure to cause some huge tensions between the two countries, and also immense potential for Turkish growth and hegemony in the Caucasus. Do you think that the West will become less reliant on China? They'll have to eventually. China's growth won't last forever, and when it falls, it will fall hard due to demographic pressures. The West cannot afford to have China's downfall affect them so badly. How likely would a war between the major powers be? And would the US join a war if, let's say, China or Russia invades Taiwan or Ukraine? I'm not sure if a major war would break out in the near future. Also, I have a feeling the US would not intervene militarily if China invades Taiwan or Russia invades Ukraine. Such moves would prompt sanctions and a likely mobilization of American troops, as if Russia or China tries to push any further than these countries, then we can surely expect the US to intervene, as they will be attacking countries with bilateral treaties with the US. If Russia were to be split up again like it did in the Soviet Union, what new countries would form? I could see Tatarstan, Yakutia, and Siberia becoming independent, though I expect the latter two to be satellites of China, after they have annexed parts of the Far East. Chukotka-Kamchatka would also be in this position. The North Caucasus states could become independent as allies or dependencies of Turkey. Could you do a video on what would happen if the Russian Federation collapsed like the Soviet Union? I think I will, and I'll try to explain my points more in this upcoming video. What do you think is the future of Karabakh? Would Armenia get the chance to get it back? Will Armenians there get autonomy, or did that ship already sail? If Russia or Iran can effectively defend Armenia and its interests as Turkey grows in power, then maybe. But Russia is being sidelined by the world and by its own insecurities, and I don't trust that Iran would fight for Karabakh. Plus, the Armenian lands are surrounded by Turkey and its main ally, Azerbaijan. I think the ship may have sailed. What do you think would happen to the United Kingdom in the upcoming years, and do you believe that the country will still exist by 2050? I agree with one of my fans when he said that he believes Scotland and Northern Ireland may secede. It's a great possibility considering Brexit and the pro-EU attitudes of those regions. How likely do you think it is that Russia joins the coming Sino-American war on either side? Depends on who threatens their interests more. If China goes on full rampage for a war of honor to conquer all of its disputed territories, expect Russia to join with the Americans. Parts of Russia are informally disputed by China. But should America directly threaten their interests in Eastern Europe and China remain silent on their disputes with Russia in a strategic move, expect them to team with China. How do you feel about a united Ireland? As an Irish person, I would love to see it. Thoughts on State of the World? I mean, it's alright, but he deleted my favorite video of his. I'm still waiting for Heartache 2, man. Bring it back. Do you think Crimea is Russian or Ukrainian? I think it's Tatar or Mongol, one of those two. What do you think of Brazil? Great country. It has the potential for great influence in South America, though it needs to control its crime much more effectively. Why did you start YouTube? Because in the lockdown I was bored and wanted to showcase what little I knew about the world at the time. These days I keep going because there are topics I'd love to talk about in real life, but I've yet to find people who share my curiosity for and cynicism in global affairs. Also, I want a Mercedes S550. What are the odds that Somaliland is officially recognized worldwide? I'm not really sure, but if it can maintain independence after Somalia finally stabilizes, then probably. Who do you think will become the next country? First of all, thanks for all the support. As for the question, Somaliland is probably the most likely since states like that can form from regional instability. Western Sahara is too weak, however, to go anywhere. Bougainville also seems likely to secede from Papua New Guinea, but I don't see the others becoming fully fledged countries. For Kosovo, I expect the situation to remain complicated in the foreseeable future. What regions do you generally divide Europe into? Northern, Insular, Southern, Western, Central, Balkan, Eastern. How do you make your videos? I make the art on Photoshop and all my animations on Premiere Pro, both produced by Adobe. Unfortunately, this video is not sponsored by Adobe. Apart from Turkey, what other Islamic nation do you consider to have opportunities to become quite influential in the Islamic world and beyond? I would say Iran has the potential, as they already have tons of foreign influence in the Middle East and harbor good relations with the Taliban to a degree. Indonesia is another one, just in the fact that it's so huge and could gain influence across the Malay world. How do you pick your topics? Usually out of my ass, but sometimes some intelligent people in the comments section give great ideas. Also, my Patreon on Patreon has some great ideas. You should join him, by the way. It's a fast-growing community. Well, I hope you enjoyed this second Q&A special. I hope to see you all next week for my video on the implications of the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. Goodbye.